Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very special week in my life. I'm so excited not only to share this video, but this was a really fun video to edit because my family had our honestly, probably one of our most epic family vacations up here in North Idaho. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested and you haven't already checked out my Patreon, I will link that down below. And with all of that being said, let's hop right in. So I've mentioned to you guys before that we live in a little lake town here in North Idaho, but we have not spent any time out on a boat. At least Dan and I haven't. I think my brother Casey has, but we were all so excited on this day to get on our pontoon and hit the water. So we cruised for a little bit, soaked up the sunshine, and then we decided that it was time to whip out the tube. Can I just throw out there, by the way, how happy I was that we did not rent a speedboat because, spoiler alert, even though this was just a pontoon, this was plenty fast for me, as well as Logie, I think. So once we got all set up, we zoomed around the lake, and I can't even emphasize enough, guys, not only how perfect the weather is, but how perfect the water was on this day. There was practically no one on the water, so we had like large portions of the lake just completely to ourselves. It was really surreal. Now, of course, we had to take a break halfway through the day of our boating because I made my very first, now I can't say it was just me, Isaac, Shayna's husband, also helped me on this. So really it was a team effort. We made a blueberry pie. I had never made a blueberry pie before. This was at the request of my sister, Michelle. And I have to say, we completely nailed it. It was so good, and we used the blueberries that we had picked earlier in the week together. We all keep joking now that we live up here that we like understand men and their toys now, you know, when they're really into like boats and ATVs and floaties and motor vehicles. I don't know. I feel like we get it a little more now that we're up here because it's so fun playing outside on nature's playground. I will say we also brought so much amazing food. So occasionally we would take breaks and we would just chow down. I made incredible guacamole, just throwing that out there. We also brought a spinach artichoke dip that was really good. Watermelon that was delicious that Isaac had squeezed lime juice all over, which if you haven't tried that, you totally need to because it's amazing. And when Dan and Casey took to the water, they went tubing together. They got a little crazy. Clearly, they were having an incredible time. Logie rode in the back of the tube once with me, very, very slowly. He did not love it, but we did pull over and hang out in the water for a little bit. He's definitely still getting used to water, feeling comfortable with it, but as the summer has gone on, he has become more and more of a little fish, and it's really, really sweet. Now, speaking of more time outside, this was on another day where we decided to hike somewhere called Tubbs Hill. I got no footage of what we did when we were up there because we had way too much fun and my phone was put away. But I did get footage while we were hiking there because it was so beautiful. I had to show you. And by the way, this hike is right around the whole lake that we were boating around. So that's where we were boating. I will say Tubbs Hill was harder than I expected. Everyone calls it a really basic hike. Maybe it's just because I'm new to the outdoor life, but I was like, yo, there were parts where we were practically mountain climbing. Like, this makes me look lame for saying that. I realize that right now because that was a flat path. But there were parts I didn't film where we're like straight up climbing over rocks. But that was good preparation because we ended up cliff jumping. I wish I'd gotten footage of that. And it was just such a beautiful day. Now, when we got home, everyone was pooped. And so Auntie Shayna curled up on the couch with Logie and read this book that I picked him up at the Goodwill called Animals Up Close. It was really sweet. So on this day, we had to make a little bit of a drive up the mountain, around the lakes, because we went to a specific area where we could go river rafting, which we are new to the river rafting life. Obviously, you guys know I'm new to like most of the outdoor life, minus some random family vacations growing up. We ended up going river rafting twice this week, and we saw so many people partaking in river rafting, and apparently river rafting tubes are like a thing. They're sold in all the stores, and I don't know. It was really cool. I did not get any footage on the river, but I wanted to show you some of our preparation. This is the bag of sandwiches that I packed to bring on the river rafting as well. And then we made our way down and we all loaded and floated away. I really wish that I had footage of us floating on the river, because I'm not kidding when I say I think this was like honestly one of the coolest, most beautiful things I've ever done in my life. Like, I was gasping at some of the views and it was just really relaxing and cool. So about halfway down the river float, we actually pulled over to the side and parked our little river rafts, and we just hung out and we skipped rocks and we ate snacks. Now, please ignore the cars that occasionally pass on the side of the road. I like to pretend that we're out in the wilderness and there were no cars passing us, but that in fact was not true, but just ignore them. You see them pass. I couldn't believe how clear the water was, and just honestly how beautiful the day was. I totally understand why so many people are into river floating or river rafting. I think those are different things, but are into floating down a river on a tube, because like I said, it was just so beautiful, so relaxing, so much fun, and I kind of learned how to skip rocks on this day. I've definitely done it before, but not within recent memory. So they retaught me how to do it, and it was funny because once I did it right, we turned it into a whole joke. Like, maybe I can get a sponsorship from an outdoor company. I'm so outdoorsy. All right, guys, so on this day, we made our way up to a place also kind of far away. We had to drive a little over an hour to a place called the Hiawatha. This is like a scenic bike ride, or at least that's how it was pitched to me. I'll explain more soon. We're about to be the best biking duo ever.
Yeah, we are.
The whole group is gonna nail it.
But we're gonna have the coolest bikes.
Oh yeah. So we showed up to like the base camp situation, and we had to rent a couple of bikes, but we also came with a few of our own electric bikes. And we made our way to the trail. Now, I have to say, this whole day was crazy for me. So beautiful, as you are seeing and will see. It was the most beautiful bike ride. But once again, I thought this was gonna be like a super easy, chill bike ride. First half of this bike ride, what you're seeing, was super chill. As you can see, it was insanely beautiful, and we pulled over to eat some snacks, get a little bit of beautiful footage, rehydrate, all that jazz. But once we picked up and we were on our way again, we realized that we were running out of time, and we actually kind of had to hurry to make it back in time. These are some of the most insane views I have ever seen in my life. The little boys in the back. It's so beautiful. Oh, and when we were hurrying down the mountain, we did end up pausing again because this deer like just wanted to come over and hang out with us. Now, my dad told me that actually being kicked by deer is one of the like top ways that people actually die in national parks. So please don't do this. But this deer was just so friendly. We had to pull over and say hi. Now, the Hiawatha is full of bridges like this, beautiful bridges that overlook the most gorgeous views. And I had to just get my camera out and share it with you guys. Now, this is random, but one of the mornings before we all hung out as a family, I really felt like a couple of our tomatoes were ready to be picked. Please don't make fun of my tomato plant. We had some struggles this year. Okay, so speaking of produce, this is one of the other really cool things that we did. We went to a local farm called Berry Blossom Farms, and they're really awesome because they're basically like a permaculture farm. They don't spray their produce. So I love going there. All of their stuff is always delicious. And on this day, we pretty much mostly picked blueberries. And this was actually probably earlier in the week because I'm pretty sure these are the blueberries that we turned into the blueberry pie. But it was so much fun getting to be outside again, soak up the sun, hang out together. The farm was almost like empty on this day, so we got to just be together and pick produce. guys, what's up? Hey. So I feel like this is like kind of a formal set. I guess it's not formal. It's literally me in my living room. It feels formal because I'm surrounded by all my stuff because I just got done filming one of the videos for Module 2, actually my first video for Module 2 for my cooking, health, wellness, mindset course that I'm working on. So I'm super excited about that. I've been working really hard on it, which is why I've been a little bit MIA online in general. So side note, that is not really a side note, but kind of a side note. If you are interested in finding out more about this class, I haven't launched it yet. I'm still kind of in the process of working on details, but it's coming soon, I think. And so if you want to join my waitlist to get all of the information for that, I'm going to have my link down below to join the waitlist for my class. I can't believe that this is finally happening. I feel like this is like a decade in the making. And if not a decade, at least like 5+ years, because I think at that point I had already been making YouTube videos for 5 years. And I'm just really excited. You guys have been asking me to put something together in a more formal way around cooking and wellness in general. And so I'm really excited about this. Anyways, I just got done filming that. And I wanted to hop in here because, and I hope that this even translates, I just felt like I needed to tell you guys the story of the Hiawatha. So the Hiawatha is the bike trail that you saw in this video that we went on as a family. And it was really awesome. But you guys know I am an Angelino native, by the way. Zoe says hi. Yeah, she's chilling. I'm an LA native, and I'm not just an LA native. I'm like the stereotype of an LA native, maybe in some ways, that like I've never really been an outdoorsy person. Like my family never went camping growing up, and it was pretty much entirely because of me, because I didn't want anything to do with it. Now, to my defense, I always had really bad vision, and now that I've had LASIK, I've joked with Dan a few times that I'm like, I could totally go camping now because my vision was so bad. Shout out to you if you know what this means, but I had a negative 7.25, which, if my memory serves me correct, is basically considered legally blind in the state of California. Like if I had my hand in front of me, I couldn't have told you like how many fingers I was holding up. It was so bad. And so you can't sleep with contacts, obviously. And it was terrifying, the thought of like being out in the middle of the forest and just like hoping if I have to pee in the middle of the night, which especially back in the day, I used to pee like 5 times a night. I got to like find my glasses and then hope that they're there and then stumble into the night. Anyways, so I've never been a super outdoorsy person. That being said, I've definitely been going a different direction in the last few years. Since leaving LA and moving to Nashville and becoming a fake homesteader, I've definitely developed a lot more interest just in nature in general and being out in nature more and realizing that we're like a lot of us, I don't want to say we're all, but a lot of us are very disconnected from nature. And I think that we're actually meant to live in like the opposite way. I think we're actually supposed to be very connected to nature. We're supposed to be barefoot outside every day at some point. We're supposed to be like having our eyes exposed to the sun, all of these different types of things. So that being said, obviously we now live in the mountains. We live in like Outdoorville, USA, where everyone's like an outdoor enthusiast and owns a kayak and all of that. And I love it. It's very exciting, especially from the perspective of raising Logan out here. It's really cool to me. So that being said, did I already just say that being said? We're saying it again. We lined up all of our activities that we wanted to do on this trip. And one of those activities was the Hiawatha, which was the bike trail. I believe it's about 15 miles down the mountain. And it was pitched to me as like a casual, scenic bike ride down a mountain, which in retrospect, I'm like, how did you think anything involving the words down a mountain was going to be casual? And I will even say this, guys, looking at my footage from the Hiawatha, I literally was like, that does look casual. Like that doesn't look like what we experienced. And it's funny because on a side note, that's not a side note, it's the same thing with Tubbs Hill. There's a place out here called Tubbs Hill that everybody had like pitched to me as like the most basic hike. You're just walking. And then I went and did it. I'm like, yo, you're like mountain climbing at certain points, which people think are hilarious, but I'm serious. I'm like, you guys are way deep into the nature thing if you think that that was just walking the whole time, because it wasn't. Well, spoiler alert, I felt the same way about the Hiawatha. And I will say this, it would have been a totally different situation had we not been in a rush. So basically what happened, the footage that you saw, almost all of it was when we were not in a rush, meaning we started the bike ride trip or the trail and we were casually biking, although even the casual biking was insane. So like at the beginning of the Hiawatha, they're like, you're going to be going in a tunnel for a little bit. It might be a little bit scary. Might be a little bit scary. Guys, you are in a tunnel for literally miles. You're literally biking in a tunnel, like a dark tunnel, for miles. And you have like a headlamp on your head, which sounds like it'd be great, except it's terrifying because once you're going, you literally can't see anything beyond your headlamp, what's shining down. And if you try to adjust it all, it's like you got to pray that it's not going to fall, which I totally had happen through one of the other shorter trails, because then you literally can't see anything. But on top of that, as you move it, it's like everywhere the light goes, everything else is suddenly black. So you're like, oh Lord, please stay in place. It's actually terrifying. And the tunnel was like, it's like water is dripping everywhere. So you're freezing, it's dark, you can't see anything, water is splashing everywhere. Like it was way more dramatic than I expected. And then we got out of the tunnel and I was like, guys, this is not what I signed up for. What did we just do? And everybody's like laughing. And poor Logan, we did not realize how much water was going to be splashing up. And so he rides behind my bike in this little thing called a Burley. It's one of those little yellow taxi cabs you've probably seen people biking with. And there's like two things. So you can have one flap down that's like the netted flap. And that's what I always bike with him, with it down so that it would stop like rocks or bugs or whatever. But then there's a plastic flap. So for whatever reason, cold, anything, right? That plastic flap should have been down. Because when we got to the other side, I look back once we're out of this tunnel and Logan's just like slow blinking and there's water all over him in the Burley. I'm like, oh my gosh, Logan, I'm so sorry. Which good thing we found this out because it turned out at the end of the Hiawatha, which spoiler alert, you go back through that same tunnel, which I had no idea. And it's actually wetter on the ride out. So good thing we knew this because then we put the plastic screen down and he would have been, I don't even know, he would have been soaked on the ride back. Anyways, we go through that tunnel, we get to the other side. I'm like, okay, this is already more intense than what I signed up for. Like I was actually scared and shaking going through this tunnel. Like I just kept thinking, is anyone else as scared as I am? Like it's pitch black in here. And one wrong move and my bike crashes and I'm like breaking an arm or whatever. So we get out the other side and we're like, all right, good. We're out in the sunshine. Yay. Let's go. And so we're just like slowly cruising and like, wow, everything's so beautiful. We pull over. We take the most beautiful pictures. Super fun. I'm really grateful for those pictures. And then we, bike a little bit and then we pull over and we're like, let's have some snacks. And then we're eating snacks. And then all of a sudden, my dad and Isaac, my sister's husband, Shayna's husband, which by the way, a few of you have asked, yes, Shayna and Isaac still live in Nashville, to those of you that have asked. And I miss them and I wish they were out here dearly. We'll see. We're just, maybe one day. Who knows? Who knows where life will take them? But we're there. And then basically Isaac and my dad were like, guys, we have to get down this mountain like fast or we're going to miss our shuttle. And we're like, excuse me, what? They're like, yeah, if we don't get down to the bottom of the mountain by this time, the shuttle, it's the last one of the day and we don't even really know what we'll do after that if it's not there. So everyone's like, we got to hustle. We have 10 more miles to get down in, I think it was an hour or 45 minutes. It was fast basically. And all of us were like, what? All of a sudden, like the fire was lit under our butts. Guys, those casual shots of me going down the mountain, like, wow, they don't even kind of convey what actually happened. The whole rest of the bike ride, so basically 75% of the actual Hiawatha trip it turned into a time trial. Like it was literally terrifying. My neck was killing me because I was so tired from like holding the bike rails and having to look up. Like I wanted to just like let my head hang, but obviously you can't because you got to see where you're going. And the whole rest of the mountain trip down, it was literally like just, I mean, we were going like 18 miles an hour down this mountain, which I think is a few miles an hour faster than you're actually allowed to be going down this mountain. But we were going to miss our shuttle. We had to get back. And it was funny because the whole time, every time I would, every few minutes, I'm like, Logan, are you okay? And I'd like look back and he's just like this in the burly, just like eyes wide. He's all, ah. And actually he did soothe himself because at one point there is audio in this video and you can hear him humming to himself in the back. So he was good. I was terrified, like, Lord, please help us make it down the mountain. It definitely was not a good safety first kind of moment. We all freaked out and we had to get down to the bottom of the mountain. And when we got down there, it was so funny because Isaac and Shayna were like, we do not want to miss this shuttle. And like, they're being slow poked. So they like hustled ahead and made their way down the mountain. And actually, it's so funny because Shayna just texted me this literally yesterday and was like, I was just thinking about the Hiawatha and how much you impressed me. And I was laughing because I was really set to make it down. I'm like, I am not missing the shuttle. I mean, all of us were. And I got down there at like literally 4:29 and the last shuttle was at 4:30. And when I rounded the corner down the mountain and Isaac and Shayna were there, Shayna looks around and goes, no way. And she just starts like laughing hysterically. She's like, because I was the first one to exit the mountain. So not only did we make it on time to our shuttle, which was crazy, but I was the first one down. And I know that Shayna thinks of me as like super wimpy and like not an outdoors person because low key I am kind of wimpy in some ways, although I'm not a wimp, but you get what I'm saying. And I haven't spent a ton of time doing nature activities like mountain biking down the Hiawatha. But she was so impressed that I made it and that I was the first one back. And I'm not going to lie, I was pretty impressed with myself as well. But yeah, so I don't even know why I'm telling you this, really just because it was so funny and we were all laughing later that night so hard. We were practically peeing our pants. It was so funny how it went from like a casual scenic bike ride to a mountain time trial, like totally different vibe than what I expected, totally different situation than what I thought I was signing up for. And I still can't believe it. I'm so glad we did it. I'm so glad we didn't crash. I'm so glad I didn't throw my back out or my neck out. And I definitely want to do it again. But next time we're going to show up earlier so that we can take this bike ride and turn it into like a 4-hour bike ride instead, because barely making it and having that pressure, honestly, in the moment, like took a lot of the fun out of it. It was hard to even really soak in the beauty for that whole other half of the bike ride because I was just trying so hard not to crash or throw my neck out. I was actually terrified and it just made it difficult. But I do look forward to doing it again because the beauty that I could soak in was like insane. And it was really cool. So I'm thinking probably next year we'll do it again and just show up earlier in the day. So on that note, I do have something else I want to show you guys because I just got a package in the mail and I'm really excited about it. I'm a little bummed because we are nearing the end of summer, so I won't get as much wear out of it. Although my parents own a jacuzzi and I do go to the jacuzzi frequently. But a chunk of what I love about this is actually for like public beaches especially. Basically, wow, this is a quick subject change. That was the end of my Hiawatha story. Moving on to this story or situation, I want to do a really quick try-on haul for you guys with some bathing suits that I just got because I'm very excited. This bathing suit company is like a modest bathing suit company and they sell these pieces, you'll see the ones that I got, that are kind of like little outfits you would wear out to the beach, but then it's swim material so you can actually swim in them. And what got me interested in these kinds of bathing suits there's a couple of different reasons I'll explain. Not that I really need to explain why I would want a more modest bathing suit, but I'll still give you the explanation. First one is I don't like getting burnt. So you guys might have noticed in the video, there were a few points where I'm like wearing a top and a dress and my hat. I pretty much straight up swim in all of that stuff. Like not fully the whole time, but I don't love it when like my shoulders are burnt to a crisp and then other stuff is covered. So I found myself most of the summer wanting to have like I would wear like a top in the water as well. And I have like a mini dress that I often would wear as like a swimsuit cover, but kind of like a swimsuit too, I would wear it in. And the reason for that, so not only to not get burnt, but also because I started thinking about this a few years ago and I just started thinking, I don't love this whole pressure around having to be in like whatever my mind has decided is perfect tip-top shape in order to wear a bathing suit. And I know that there's this whole thing on the internet, like, what's a bathing suit body? A body that's wearing a bathing suit. And part of me totally agrees with that. But then part of me has this thought process of like, well, are you comfortable? Like, yes, you can talk yourself into it by saying that. And then if you're comfortable, okay, that's great. But if you're not even comfortable, then what was the point of forcing yourself to just wear this bathing suit where like you don't even feel comfortable anyways, but you're like, it's just a body in a bathing suit. Like, should you have to wear that? Especially over recent years, I'd say within the last 5-ish years, as I've spent more time studying different cultures in different kinds of ways, a lot of it being through YouTube, and realizing that there's lots of other people groups who like totally cover up from head to toe to go swimming, including people that are like Islamic or even different types of Christian faiths. It's like people have different, you know, levels of comfort around what is considered swimming attire. And I just started thinking, you know what? I always feel all this pressure specifically around my hip. You guys know, if you've been on my channel for a long time, I actually had hip surgery when I was 16, and it left my hip and my thigh in a state of like, it's been very atrophied, and it's toned up more over the years as the muscle and the scar has healed, but it hangs in a way that I don't super love and I don't feel super confident about. And I've noticed it's like, I don't even have to worry about it if I just cover it up. Like, then there's never any, like, I don't deal with the whole cycle of feeling like self-conscious and my hip is out and I'm thinking about my hip surgery again. It's just, if it's covered, it's not a problem. And so I've definitely tiptoed more towards like, oh, I can wear whatever I want to the beach. And it doesn't have to be whatever is like traditionally or like currently popular as bathing suit fashion in Western media, which is often like pretty much close to naked. And if I don't feel comfortable in that, like I don't have to do it. So anyways, I started tiptoeing in this direction over the last few years. And then this year on Instagram, I found this company and I really liked their stuff, and I commented on their Instagram and they offered to send me some bathing suits. So I was very excited. So I'm going to show them to you right now. All right, so I'm filming this still in my living room because my bedroom is a mess, so just throwing that out there. But the brand that I'm showing you today is called Honeymark, and seriously, they have so many cute bathing suits. It was legitimately hard to pick, but this is one of the ones that I picked out. Tell me this is not so cute. And what I love about this, I will say this first off, both of the bathing suits that I got, the fabric is like extremely high quality. I brought it over to Dan. I was like, Dan, feel this bathing suit. Like, they're both heavy, but in a good way where like the fabric doesn't feel like it's gonna fall apart. I also really love the color. It's like a beautiful burgundy wine type color. Also, like I mentioned, I love that the shoulders are covered. But what I really like about these shoulders is that they're covered, but it's not a tight fit. So A, you're not gonna have any weird like digging into your arm from the sleeves. But B, because the sleeves are kind of fluttery, I feel like it's gonna help with not having such like a blatant like tan line. Like, boom, it's gonna be a little more like of a vague tan line as your hand or your arm moves through the sun. So I absolutely love it. Now, I will say the way that this is sold is this is called a swim dress. The back is a little bit longer than the front, which I really like. I honestly feel like I'm in a little ice skating outfit. I really love it. And then the bottoms are bought separately, and I just bought their high-waisted, like regular bottoms. But yeah, how cute is this, guys? Now the second suit, it's so cute. Honestly, like I said, so much of their stuff is so cute. And now that I have 2 of their suits in person, it's exciting to know that it's not just cute, it's super well made. I know that was the last point that I made with the other suit, but seriously, that was the most shocking thing, was just like, not only the coverage, but the thickness and the way that I feel supported in both of these suits. Guys, look at how cute this is. And yes, you saw that right. I just stuck my hands in my pockets. It's very exciting times. So what's so cool about both of these pieces is that they're basically able to be worn as just like hangout outfit type situations. And even, like I said, with these, you've even got pockets so you can store things in them. Don't put your phone in there and then forget and go swimming with your phone. but so cute. Once again, we've got a little bit of shoulder coverage. So I'm not gonna have the same, my shoulders are a little more exposed. You know, I'm not gonna have the same sun coverage, but you get a little bit of shade, and I do really like that. And I like that these are shorts on the bottom. And once again, it has the coverage that I prefer. And I like this kind of slate blue color. And once again, I just can't emphasize enough, like the tops have such great support. The bottoms, I feel very supported here as well. I have tried other like modest swimsuit brands before. I tried a company last summer and I really liked their suits. They were really cute, but I'm telling you, they did not have the same amount of support that both of these Honey Mark swimsuits have. I'm so impressed. I can't say that enough. And I'm really hitting that point home because I mean, it's not like they're more expensive than other bathing suits, but you might see the price tag and be like, oh, that's not the same price I'd pay for one like at Target or TJ Maxx. But I'm telling you, you're not being gypped. It's worth it because they're just super high quality. So very exciting, and yeah. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed joining us for our family vacation. It was such an epic week full of so much beautiful North Idaho magic, and I'm grateful to cameras for being able to capture all of this. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and I will, God willing, see you guys back here soon with another new video. All right, bye guys.